I'm Julie Alexandria.
And I'm Jennifer Mercedes.
Between the two of us, we have over 2 decades of experience working in professional sports.
We're telling the stories of women who are at the top of their game in sports and business.
Welcome
to the locker room.
I want to talk hair for a minute because we're ladies and we like to talk hair, because when I met you, you wore your hair straight. And there was a moment then when you started to pepper in wearing your natural texture. And as a female, as a woman of color who's on camera, there are so many expectations that are set for the way we have to look. And there are so many asks that are made of us. God forbid you're working on a green screen. The curls are very difficult to work with. But like, at what point did you make that decision? I'm going to be my authentic self. I'm going to wear the hoop earrings. I'm going to wear the red lipstick if I want to, and I'm going to wear my natural texture.
Yeah. It was in San Diego, actually. And so here's part of like the cultural shift, right? Like I was in Miami before, where I'm Dominican, as you know, Jeffrey. Like I had all the Dominican hairstylists that could, their like point of pride is being able to press that hair, girl, make it straight as possible. You're going to have the best blowout of your life. It was a cultural thing. It was almost a rite of passage for me as a kid to get my hair chemically straightened, right? Because the mindset was, the more Eurocentric you look, the more successful and the more acceptable you will be. And that doesn't just go for communities of color. This is what the mainstream media tells us and feeds us from the moment we enter this planet. So it's very hard to sort of undo that mind bleep. As you're especially coming into the industry. Then you get into broadcast and there's 5,000 consultants that, you know, your station or your managers bring in to tell you, you have to look like this. But all the other people that are in the little boxes on the screen look like this. So if you don't look like that, you're never going to make it. So that's what I did. I feel like that's what I had to do. Fast forward to San Diego, where there was no one who knew how to handle all this. I still don't know how to handle it. You know what I named my fro? It's Angela. Yes. She has her own personality.
I remember you asked me if there was anybody that I could recommend that gave a good blowout.
Yeah, it was impossible. So what happened was, it was getting very, very damaged. And I often speak about like sort of having to fit yourself in that box, and it eats away a piece of you, like a part of you dies. A part of me was literally dying, and it was my hair. It was so damaged by that point because I had to do it myself. And it's just, you're running around, you're going to practices, you're going to games, you have to be on air, you have to like put all of this heat on it. I would brush it, ladies, and it would like wither away at the end. I was like, y'all, I'm about to be bald. Then what? Then what am I going to do? So one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it breathe. And then I let it breathe for like a day too long. And I was like, shoot, I got to get to the station. It's going to take me like 3 hours to blow dry my hair. I don't have that time. So I was like, well, this is what it's going to be today. And I literally thought I was going to throw up before I walked into the news station. I was like, what's my boss going to say? What are the viewers going to say? But like, there's literally no time. There's no time. So this is what it is. And I was shocked at the positive response. Everyone was like, what? We didn't even know your hair was curly. Like, how would you? I'd never wore it like this before. And I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to ride this train as long as possible. And like the shift in how I felt about myself, being authentically who I was. I mean, I felt like my entire life changed from that moment. I know it seems sort of trivial, right? Like, oh, it's just hair, but especially for us, it's a lot. This is the first thing you see. If your hair ain't right, you're not going to feel right that day.
No, girl, it is not trivial at all. And I completely relate in the sense, because I mean, I live in Jersey and grew up here. I mean, and there's Dominican salons everywhere. You know, I mean, I grew up getting my hair done in the Heights. So, I mean, like, it was never an issue. When I moved to Chicago 2 years ago for this job, the first thing that before I even moved, I was like, where is there a Dominican salon? Like, because if there is not a Dominican salon, what am I going to do? What, like, should I buy a wig? Like what am I going to do with this hair? Like, those are the things that go through your mind, because these edges need to be blow dried. Like, very, you know what I mean? Like, tú sabes, like, like, it's very, very important. Yes. And it's real. And like, that's the first thing that I did. And I ended up like finding 2 different ones. And I was great. And I'm like, thank the Lord, because if not, I mean, I would have damaged my own hair, because I would have been doing it myself all the time.
And listen, it was not cute at first, this transition. I mean, she's thriving now, but that was in 2017. I'll never forget, January 2017 was when I said, okay, I'm not I'm not going to straight. I have not heat styled it since we're in 2021 at this point. And it was rough because it was so damaged. So it would like curl and then be like straight and then be like frizzy. And then like this side would grow, but this side wouldn't grow. And I was like, well, there's no turning back now. Like I'm in it. So I had to like sort of like white knuckle through the very awkward little fro phase, but we've evolved. Angela has definitely sort of repaid me for all of my efforts.